that I can finally get back to actually baking something. I talked about wanting to do a daily card draw with my oracle cards. I'm pleased to inform you that I have actually been doing that. It is Thursday, and that means one thing. It is the release day for the Cosy Living collection. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Melanie Steele. I'm the author of 3 non-fiction books all about cozy living, and I am currently in the process of finishing my first novel, The Lunar Quartz Library, which is a cozy fantasy. So it has finally started to cool down here in the UK, and that means that I can finally get back to actually baking something. Because one, baking when it's hot is just a non-starter because, well, it's not super comfortable. 2, anything you do bake has to live in the fridge or it's going to go off pretty quickly. And last week was when we kind of got all our fresh produce and our shopping, and there was just zero space for any kind of baked goods in there. But now we've kind of gotten our way through that. There's a bit of space, so I'm going to fill it with cake because why not? Today's cake that I'm going to make is a vegan version of yellow cake. I'll pop in a picture here. You're probably not at all familiar with yellow cake if you are one of my fellow UK residents, one of my fellow Brits. Yellow cake is something I had when I was doing my semester abroad over in the States many years ago. It is essentially a kind of just a sponge cake that is made with a lot of egg yolks, and the egg yolks give it its distinctive yellow colour, and also egg yolks contain a lot of fat, as we know, so it kind of adds to the deliciousness of the cake overall. I'm making a vegan version for 2 reasons. One, eggs. It uses many eggs to make the traditional recipe for this cake, and eggs are super expensive. And of course you have to separate the yolk and the white, which I'm more than capable of doing, but it's time intensive. The vegan version just uses turmeric as the means of colouring it. You could use yellow food colouring, but I think you'd get a weird shade of yellow from that personally. I have made this cake before and I know the turmeric gives it the perfect shade of yellow. And the other reason is it's just so much easier, so much easier. I've done it before, I know it tastes really good. I will not be making the chocolate frosting by hand either. I know this is a slightly less from scratch cake. Essentially, the price of butter is super expensive, so making your own actual proper buttercream with real butter is currently, it's a non-starter. So I just bought a package of chocolate frosting from the supermarket. Yes, it's not real butter, it's vegetable fat, and it has lots of colourings and preservatives, but you know what? It's cheap, it tastes good, and I'm just going to use it because why not? So, the other reason that I want to film this as well is, you'll know I have recently said about not having an overhead tripod, thus it's quite difficult to film when I'm mixing things in a bowl or anything like that, but I have now resolved this problem. Might have to step back to get this in the frame. There we go. It is a kind of, I think it's called a gooseneck tripod, and he can adjust what it's going to clamp onto, which here is going to be the side of the workbench. And obviously we just put the phone in here and you can bend it any which way. It's not super easy. It's quite, it is quite stiff, but you can bend it any which way to get whichever angle of shot you're going for. It was a lot cheaper than a traditional overhead tripod, and it has the benefit that I can do it at different angles, so I'm going to get more use out of it essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up, and hopefully we will have a very nice overhead shot of my mixing bowl and me mixing things up, and maybe pretending that this is a foodie channel, which it is not, because as much as I like to bake and make things, that is not the entire vibe of this channel. I just like to share the little things that I'm doing at home with you in hopes that you enjoy watching it. So let's bake cake.
So as you can see, I've got the shot lined up here, and it just made the whole process of filming this so much easier than when I have filmed other similar baking things in the past. So you can see I'm starting out here with the flour and the raising agent. It's a pretty simple recipe, so there's not too much more to be added other than the salt and the sugar. And there is the turmeric right there, which obviously gives it its lovely yellow color. I did add a little bit extra a bit further on because I decided it didn't look quite yellow enough when the batter was done. So much sugar. You can see I put a little bit too much in. I tried to save it and then decided there was no point and that a little bit extra wasn't really going to harm the recipe overall. So giving that a good mix, and now it's time to add in all of the liquid ingredients. I like this because it uses oil, so we don't have to mess about with melting butter, and it uses plant-based milk because obviously it's a vegan recipe. Again, it's just super simple. Everything's in one bowl. This is such an easy cake to make, and I would recommend it if you're looking for an alternative to something like Victoria's Sponge because it's still very much in that kind of vibe, but just a little bit more different and a little bit of fun with chocolate frosting. I'm going to start out doing this by hand, and I'm quickly going to regret it. As you can see, it is quite lumpy, and no amount of stirring with a spatula was going to fix that. So I'm going to move to plan B very shortly, as you will see. There we go. Electric whisk. This was a little trickier to film because the cable on that whisk is not very long, so I had to hold it at a slightly jaunty angle, but you get the overall impression here. Please excuse that very gross looking spatula with the batter and all the drips that are about to come off of that electric whisk. Baking is a bit of a messy business. And there you can see I've put in a little extra bit of turmeric because that batter, for the purposes of it being yellow cake, looked a bit anemic. But there we go. You can see that looks much better now, just that extra quarter teaspoon. And no, you cannot taste the turmeric. So I've popped it into some tins here. I always line them with baking paper on the bottom and obviously spray around them with spray oil so that they don't stick, and pop those in the oven. And look at those. They look so good. The color is a bit more yellow in real life than it is on camera, but they came out really, really well. Here is the frosting that I filmed afterwards, as you can tell by the fact that the top of it's empty. And ta-da, here we go. This cake. It did a little bit of a break when it came out of the oven, but nothing that made it unsalvageable. Absolutely delicious.
So, what have I been up to since the last vlog? I'm still in a period of taking a little bit of time off, mostly because I am still waiting on some feedback from my beta readers. And I don't really want to get stuck into any kind of copy edits until I've had everything back from them. That should be just a couple of days. So I've still got a couple of days to just chill out and relax. I have definitely been enjoying this time. If you remember from that video, I talked about wanting to do a daily card draw with my oracle cards. I'm pleased to inform you that I have actually been doing that. I have filled up several pages, which I will just very briefly show you. So you can see essentially this is going well. I have really enjoyed it as a little ritual actually. Each morning, kind of before I get set into doing anything, whether that's chores or just reading a book, whatever I'm doing for the day, I just take 5 minutes to do the oracle card draw. And there have definitely been some very enlightening messages. A lot of them have been about just being focused on the here and now, and knowing that good things are on the way, i.e. to stop stressing about things in regards to my book in terms of promotion, getting it out there, wondering if anyone will ever read it, purchase it, etc. So it has certainly been comforting and enlightening to do, and it only takes like 5 minutes a day. And I'm very pleased with myself that I have kept it up because I'm not always
a person with the most follow through on things. So hooray for me. What did come in the mail over the past few days I want to share with you is the author copy of the Cosy Living Collection. This is coming out on the 31st of July, and it's essentially an omnibus edition of my 3 non-fiction books, but with 3 bonus chapters, so that if you have already purchased 1, 2, or even all 3 of these books, you've still got something to gain by purchasing this edition, including brand spanking new recipes, which I know from messages I received is some of the most favorite parts of those books that people love. This is actually the second copy I got of this. The first copy was the proof copy, and there were some clangers in there. It was actually the recipes. I shared this on my Instagram story. I don't think I've got the picture anymore on my phone, but I had written out the recipes obviously in the document, and in the document on the screen they looked fine. They were slightly italicized and they looked lovely. When that proof copy came through, they were like this big in comparison to the sort of general text, which was like this big, and it looked so stupid. I don't know what happened between the screen and the printers, but something went wrong. So I had to go back into the manuscript and adjust all of the text that pertained to all the ingredients for every single recipe, adjust the kind of text that it was. And I then ordered the author copy with my fingers crossed that I had managed to do it. And from what I can see, if I can just show you, for example, this page, the ingredients now appear to be a sensible size in relation to the rest of the text. But yeah, I was so excited to get this. I love this cover. I had this commissioned by Get Covers, who make very affordable ebook covers, ideal if you are starting out in the indie author space. I sent them pictures of the covers from the Little Book of Hygge and other books that had this kind of more illustrated type cover as a reference, and they absolutely delivered on that. And it was really reasonably priced. I think it was like $30 for both an ebook and a paperback cover. Absolutely perfect for what I wanted. And I am excited to get it out into the world and see how it does. This is the time of year that my sales tend to really pick up, particularly for Cozy Autumn. So I'm excited to see whether people opt just to get Cozy Autumn or whether they opt to get the omnibus edition. Either way, I'm very happy and hope that people enjoy all the various editions of my books. It is Thursday, and that means one thing. It is the release day for the Cosy Living Collection. A few people ask me about the paperback edition because Amazon does not let you do pre-orders for paperbacks, only for Kindle. So I know there are definitely 1 or 2 people who are waiting in the wings and will be looking to purchase this today, tomorrow, in the near future, which is very exciting. So it's actually a Thursday, 31st of July. So this vlog will be going live on this day. Because I was having a bit of a break from writing, I haven't had as much interesting things to vlog here. So whilst this would normally be wrapped up and I would be starting next week's vlog already, just having a bit of a break means this vlog is a little bit more current for you. But I will definitely be starting next week's vlog after I finish talking to you today about what my plans are for the next couple of days. So yeah, enjoy this very current, up-to-date vlog because they will probably get a little bit more further behind once I actually have things to do. Speaking of which, I had a lovely call with the lovely Andrea, who has very kindly been beta reading the Lunacor's Library for me. And she has given me lots of lovely feedback to get started with. So my plan for next week is to officially start copy edits. So a lot of the vlogs going forward will be me battling with copy edits.
I say that I'm starting that next week as opposed to today or tomorrow, because my focus for the weekend is to get my newsletter set up. The first chapter of the Unicorns Library is going to be the freebie, the reader magnet, the opt-in gift, whatever we're calling it. It's what you're going to get for free in exchange for signing up for my mailing list. Obviously, I wanted to have a few more eyes on that first chapter to make sure that it was absolutely drawing you in, that you felt compelled to read more, or else it's not going to be very effective in building my newsletter audience. I have a few copy edits to do on that, but that was largely okay. Just needed one or two little tweaks. I've already got the email sequence mostly set up in MailerLite. I've got the emails, I've got the when they're going out, the automation. I have done the integration with BookFunnel because I will be using BookFunnel to send out my free chapter. If you're not familiar with BookFunnel, it's basically a service that authors use normally just to deliver their advanced reader copies, to reduce the risk of piracy. Because if you send it through BookFunnel, they use watermarks, which helps to reduce that, but nothing can ever completely eliminate piracy, let's be honest. And also you can do things like promotions with other authors rather, newsletter swaps. So it has a lot of good features. You can integrate it with your email provider so that they will essentially, BookFunnel will send out whatever it is you want them to send out. They will collect that person's email address and they will pop it on to your mailing list. So it is essentially a fuss-free way of getting your work out there with at least some level of protection. And also, I think it just looks more professional. A lot of readers will be familiar with BookFunnel, particularly if they read a lot of ARCs. It just gives them that reassurance, really, that they are getting a good professional product. I have the emails written, but I'm not 100% on board with the copy. I think it still needs a little bit of work. I also have a little extra freebie that will be going on there as well, so that, why not have all the freebies? It's something that's not going to take me very long to make, so it's absolutely fine. I'm not going to be spending an awful lot of time on it, but it's just a little extra thank you for everyone who wants to sign up to the newsletter list. And of course, once I have it set up, I then have to actually remember to send out newsletters. My fellow authors appreciate the struggle with this. I've done newsletters in the past. I've done various blogs and things, so I'm pretty familiar with how it actually works. So also just remembering to write it and to know what you're going to say in these newsletters. Obviously, for the most part, mine will be getting closer to publication and doing a countdown and probably just recounting what I've been up to, etc. But yeah, it's certainly something I will need to make sure I'm doing and that I'm putting in my planner. I probably won't be sending these newsletters out super often right now because it's going to be more like the end of October, or maybe even the end of November before this is ready, just judging by feedback and things. And obviously, I want to make sure that this book is as good as it can be before it goes out. So it's going to be a couple more months. It would definitely not be end of Q3 as I'd hoped, because that would just be unnecessary pressure on myself and it would just not be as good as it can be if I took more time. So obviously it's a while and I'm not going to have too many things to say between then and then. But once the actual publication draws nearer, then yes, you can send out more information. So a long-winded way of saying getting my newsletter set up, and I will be doing a post on Instagram about that on Monday. And of course, I'll be doing a few posts to remind people as time goes by in case they didn't see it, because the Instagram algorithm is horrible, 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 and you don't always get to see posts, even from people's content that you interact with regularly. Sometimes I find it's been like 2 weeks and someone's account randomly pops into my mind. I'm like, oh, they haven't posted anything for a while.
I go back and they've posted so much, and I have consistently liked their posts, and the algorithm's just like, no, I'm not going to show you this. So it's a case of you have to get over the fact that you feel like you're bothering people by posting things like sign up to my newsletter, because honestly most people, unless you like have a very small and very engaged following, are not going to see every post. Pretty much no one is. So you have to put out multiple times to increase the chance that they are actually going to see it and sign up. But it absolutely does have a tendency to feel like, oh goodness, why am I posting this again? People are going to be sick of hearing about it. But I'm working on it, just trying to get over that and get on with it. So next week will be the start of copy edits, as I said. So that will definitely be the theme of vlogs going forward. Obviously, I'll try to include other things just so that it's not all copy edits, because whilst that might be interesting to my fellow authors, I know not everyone watching is an author. Some of you are just readers. So I'll try and have a balance of things so that there is something for everyone to enjoy. I am looking at the timer here, and once again, we're going to be getting too long for this vlog because YouTube is still not quite sure about my content that runs over 15 minutes. So I try to keep these vlogs to 30 minutes, and that seems to do the trick. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button. I upload twice a week. On a Tuesday, it is normally a topic video, which is either a sort of how-to for authors or what I've been reading and things like that for my readers. And every Thursday is a daily vlog like this of me taking you around and showing you my day-to-day life. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.